If you're holding less than 100 Quant, watch this video until the end. We're taking a deep dive into Quant's utility, exactly what all the hype is about for when it comes to Quant, exactly where we believe the price will be going for when it comes to Quant, and also everything you need to know in the back end for when it comes to the team behind the project, the potential, and also its utility and connections. By the end of this video, you'll get a good idea on how well Quant can do by the next bull market, and also get a good understanding on the future of Quant for when it comes to its token and also as a business. Now, I'm going to be telling you my personal opinion throughout, so do not take anything in this video as financial advice. Please do your own research. But getting started, I want to go through the team, and in more specific, the founder himself, as I feel like the experience the founder actually brings to this project is massive. Now, the founder is Gilbert Verdian. We've made multiple videos reacting to his past conferences and interviews. However, in this video, we're not only going to be looking at some of his interviews, but then also talking about the utility and exactly how his experience, his past experience, plays into the future of Quant. So, first of all, Gilbert Verdian, he actually was working as the CSO and Deputy CTO of the HM Treasury. Now, as a CSO and Deputy CTO of HM Treasury, he actually had a big say when executing government's finance policies and economic policies in the UK. When being, working in the HM Treasury, especially as a CSO and Deputy CTO, he definitely had a big part for when it came to financial decisions for the UK government. Now, that itself is a big deal, but then we move on to he had multiple roles as well in BP, HSBC, in a UK bank here, and of course, the other big, I feel like, big role that he's had that will play into the future is also being the security lead in the Ministry of Justice here in the UK. Some pretty high up government roles, and at the same time financial roles, of course, because he has worked in the HM Treasury in the Bank of England. Now, of course, this actually dated back from 2009 all the way to 2013, and that is a massive experience. Now, during his time over here, I'm pretty sure it was about 2014, 2016 time, I might be wrong, but he did mention in an interview that he actually founded the ISO standard, right? He actually founded the ISO standard and how it can actually be applicable for when it comes to health and curing diseases and illnesses like cancer. So I'm pretty sure that's when he founded it, when he was working at eHealth. I might be wrong, it might have been in NSW, I'm not totally sure. Now, I also want to talk about some of the places he is volunteering at. So he's currently volunteering at the member board of directors in the Digital Pound Foundation. He's also volunteering in the Fed Payments Improvement Community. I'm sure a lot of you have been hearing about the Fed payments recently, the Fed Now. I'm not exactly sure if it's directly connected, but yes, he has volunteered there as well. And he's obviously also worked again in the Bank of England as CMORG Cyber. So I'm guessing he was behind a lot of the cyber activity. Cyber security activity behind the Bank of England. He also had a bunch more volunteering experience in the Federal Reserve System as a secure payment task force. As you can see here, ISO as well, founder of blockchain ISO standard. So yes, he did found it. That was in 2016, and so he pretty much, this was a group, I'm guessing, and he was part of it. I'm not really sure the details for when it comes to it. However, it's laid out, it's linked in, you guys can go and check it out for when it comes to the founder's experience. And I'm sure I don't have to explain on how a lot of these experiences will play into the future of Quant. He's worked in the government pretty much in financial roles when it comes to the bank and HM Treasury, and also worked in a lot of, he's been part of a lot of, let's just say, groups that indicate the future of the financial system, right? For when it comes to the Fed, for when it comes to the Bank of England, he's volunteered and he's worked and he's been involved with the right crowd. I think I'll leave it at that, He's been involved with the right crowd. And yeah, now when it comes to his understanding of the blockchain and his sort of thoughts in the crypto, believe it or not, I say believe it or not because a lot of the times when you have some government individuals, people that have worked in the government or people that have worked in banks, usually when it comes to crypto and the blockchain, their knowledge might not be, it might not even be as good as some, let's just say, crypto degenerates just trading, But in this case, in fact, I feel like Gilbert Verdin probably knows more than 99.9% of people when it comes to crypto and the blockchain. He's actually got involved in the blockchain back in 2009 when he first heard about Bitcoin. There's actually a clip where he slightly touches on it, so I thought I'd play it in this video.
If I tell you a story, so my introduction to blockchain and Bitcoin was in 2009. Did anyone buy any Bitcoin in 2009? Because I didn't. No. So it was 0.0005 cents. So I was working at the Treasury, the UK's Treasury, which handles the economic aspects of the economy, as the CTO. So I spoke at a conference like this, which was just government, and I said, we need to look at Bitcoin. Has anyone heard about it here? No one knew anything. 2009. So then I got the policy guys in my department to do a paper on it, and the assessment came out that Bitcoin will never have any material impact to the UK's economy, and we're going to leave it like that. And that was 2009. So fast forward to 2014, I was working in healthcare in the Department of Health. I had an issue where health records were all over the place, and I couldn't connect them together. So what I thought of was, you know what, blockchain can solve this. It's a good use case to solve it. So I ended up solving it for healthcare, for the department. But at the same time, the ISO people said, can we turn this into a standard? This is a really good idea. So I ended up founding TC307, which is the ISO standard for blockchain. So now we have 46 countries working together to solve blockchain, and that includes privacy, security, reference architecture, terminology, interoperability, governance, use cases, smart contracts. So 46 countries are all working together to solve blockchains, and the next meeting is in London in a couple of weeks in May.
Now, this interview was actually recorded back in 2018 before the ICO of Quant actually happened. In fact, he actually talked about the ICO later on in this video. However, yes, this was really early on, still in 2018, and he pretty much talked about his experience for when it comes to Bitcoin. He actually heard about Bitcoin back when it was at 0.005 cents, and they pretty much done an assessment on whether Bitcoin would have an effect in the future of the UK's economy. Clearly, it is having a massive impact, if you haven't realized already. And yeah, that's just to show that he's been around for a while for when it comes to crypto. His knowledge is up there. Much, amazing knowledge, in fact, especially if he's heard about Bitcoin back in 2009. Like, I was about 10 years old, 12 years old back in 2009. So, I was young. Does that make sense? Like, it's pretty insane, right? So he's been around for a while, and for when it comes to Quant's utility, because I feel like this is a big deal. Now, Quant's utility comes down to the Quant overledger, okay? Now, the Quant overledger, if I actually managed to find in their website, but pretty much what the Quant overledger is pretty much being able to use all the blockchains under one blockchain, or under one tech, which is the Quant overledger. So let's say for business right now, and to be fair, we are going to be reacting on Gilbert Verdin explaining what the Quant overledger is. However, I thought I'd explain it from my perspective, so just you get more of a simpler explanation of it. So imagine if I wanted to start a decentralized application today, I would need to be using one blockchain, really. And that most likely would have been the Ethereum ERC20 because it's secure and I can trust it. It might be Solana if I'm doing a play to earn game because of its low transaction fees and because of its low gas fees and how fast the transaction fees can be. I might even want to use XRP to make payments for when it comes to the decentralized application because of its speed, so on and so forth. You have different use cases for different blockchains. Now, of course, when it comes to the future and when it comes to making central bank digital currencies, you don't want to be relying on one blockchain. You don't want to be doing that. Now, the Quant overledger allows you to use all the blockchains, every single blockchain out there under one roof, which is the Quant overledger, which is the main utility Quant is providing, and it is a massive problem it's solving. And pretty much we're going to be reacting to Gilbert Verdin explaining it, let's just say in more professional terms from my end. I feel like my example was a bit scuffed. So yeah, let's give it a quick reaction.
So the question I ask is, why should you be limited to one blockchain? Why should you be stuck and limited to one single technology when there's different benefits and different blockchains that you can benefit from? So what we're saying is, why not benefit from all blockchains? And so what we've done with Overledger, it's an operating system that sits on top of existing first generation blockchains, second generation blockchains, nth generation blockchains, and interoperability blockchains, and it allows you to connect seamlessly without giving you any extra overhead, without giving you any extra consensus or cost, because it's facilitating that data transfer between networks. We're connecting and bridging networks and allowing you to do something quite unique, to create new multi-chain applications, not distributed applications, multi-chain applications. So if you think about it a bit more, we're kind of like what Microsoft did. If Microsoft in the 90s made Windows to be internet-based and put Windows OS on top of the internet to create internet apps, that's what we're doing today. So we've got our operating system on top of existing blockchains and future blockchains to create internet-based multi-chain apps where you can
But that's pretty much what it is explaining. I want to quickly show you this diagram as well.
actually benefit from.
So this diagram right here pretty much sums it up perfectly. So you got the Quant overledger here, you got different decentralized application right here, and pretty much you can using the overledger, you're using every single possible blockchain under one roof. First generation blockchains like Ripple, Stellar, and so on. Second generation blockchains like IOTA, Neo, Cardano, so on. And then interoperability blockchains, again like Polkadot, ABC, I can't even read it. Is that AAC, ARC? Yeah, you guys get the idea. Every single blockchain out there you can use under one roof. And for when it comes to the future, when people and banks, different jurisdictions and governments want to use, they don't want to rely on one single blockchain. They don't want to be relying on Ethereum, right? Imagine Ethereum gets hacked, something crazy happens. Imagine Solana happens and Solana is down. What's going to happen then to a government using a central bank digital currency? It's going to be a big problem. With the overledger, that problem is fixed because you're not relying on one single blockchain. It is every single blockchain out there that you could be using. But yeah, that brings us to the end of this video. This video was pretty much to clear up exactly what Quant is providing, my understanding behind Quant's potential, and exactly if you are holding less than 100 Quant, it's most likely because financial reasons, which is you have a set budget on how much Quant you're buying, and also because you might not want to have all your eggs in one basket, which is exactly where I'm at. I don't want to be putting all my money in Quant as much as I believe in it. And second of all, of course, is because you don't know much about Quant, you're pretty much buying into it as FOMO. So that's pretty much to educate someone that might not be so invested when it comes to its knowledge to Quant. This is a video for them to simply get understanding for Quant, but this is just really the foundations of Quant. There's a lot more to go through and exactly what they've done in the last couple years after launching. If you guys want to see another video on me going in depth for when it comes to Quant and its progress from the ICO to now, I'll be doing that in a future video. Let me know if you want to see it. It's been by Cryptomaxi, guys. Take care and